Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Lancaster, Virginia, the latest news and recaps in the world of professional wrestling. Welcome to the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. And now, here's your host, Andre Smith.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. I am your host, Andre Smith, and today I'm probably just going to go over a couple of highlights that have been going on in this crazy world we call professional wrestling. So let's get right to it here. First, I am going to go over WWE SmackDown. The Bloodline was in the house, but there was no Jey Uso. And it was said that Roman Reigns, the WWE Undisputed Champion, Universal Champion, will address the state of the Bloodline later on tonight. And we have the finals of the number one contender tag team tournament is underway as Braun Strowman and Ricochet take on Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci of Imperium. The two men, they represent Imperium. My notes got mixed up, sorry. Anyway, Ricochet shoves Intercontinental Champion Gunther, causing the ring general to shove Ricochet. The referee sees this and throws Gunther out of ringside. Strowman tags in and the game changes. Ricochet delivers a swanton bomb off of Strowman's shoulders to pin Kaiser to become the new number one contenders for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Rey and Dominic Mysterio decide to race some NASCAR wheels. It was an alright segment, but anyway, to make a long story short, Rey won and Dominic had an attitude. As we move on, WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defends her belt against Sonya Deville. Deville hits a flying knee for a near fall. Flair applies a figure eight for the submission. Then after this, we have another segment concerning Roman Reigns. He sends Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa to find their brother Jay. Next up, we have the Brawling Brutes versus the Viking Raiders. Holland delivered in Alabama, slammed the eyeball, which was very impressive. The Viking Raiders delivered a Ragnarok double choke slam to Butch for the pinfall win. Afterwards, the Raiders got into a fight with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Fatal four-way qualifying match to determine which woman goes to Elimination Chamber. Shotzi versus Natalya versus Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega. Natalya wins the whole thing with the sharpshooter applied to Vega, making her submit. So Natalya is going to the Elimination Chamber match, which happens to be in her home country of Canada this year. Roman Reigns is getting aggravated that no one can get a hold of Jey Uso. He tells Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa that everyone needs to stick together or there's no more bloodline. Reigns comes to the ring. Only Paul Heyman is with him. And it's interesting because Reigns also has a new t-shirt featuring him and the Wise Man. So there could be that could be a sign of things to come later. Reigns says that he was going to ask the fans what they wanted to talk about. He said that he wanted to talk about Cody Rhodes, but since the crowd was chanting for Sami Zayn, he says that the fans, the simple folk, reduced him to talk about the past. The tribal chief then talked about War Games and how he looked at Sami Zayn's eyes and saw that all he needed to see, which happened to be, in his opinion, greed. He accused Zayn of using him and his family As Reigns is sitting there complaining, Zayn attacks Reigns from behind. Reigns comes back with some knees to the midsection. He tells Heyman to get a chair, to which the wise man obliges. As Reigns is about to use the chair, Zayn delivers a spear. As Zayn was about to use the chair, Reigns quickly leaves. Zayn tells Roman that he never wanted anything from him until now. Zayn demands a shot at the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Then Jimmy Uso and Sikoa show back up to beat down Zayn. Uso sits Zayn in the corner with a chair around Zayn's neck. As Sikoa was about to deliver the hip attack onto Zayn, Reigns stops Sikoa. He tells Sammy that he's going to give him what he wants at Elimination Chamber. Reigns tells Sammy that he's going to break him in front of his family to close the show. That was it for SmackDown. Let's see. Next up, we'll talk about the following Monday Night Raw that emanated from Orlando, Florida. Edge and Beth Phoenix come out. Edge says that they're here to get the Judgment Day. Phoenix says that she wants to beat Rhea Ripley's ass. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio come out to mock the people. Phoenix issues a challenge of her and Edge versus Balor and Ripley at Elimination Chamber, to which Balor accepted. As the Judgment Day try to attack Edge and Phoenix, the Street Profits come out to even the score. The Elimination Chamber. Next up, we have the Elimination Chamber qualifying match: Angelo Dawkins versus Damian Priest. Priest wins with the South of Heaven. Dexter Lumis versus Baron Corbin. Lumis gets the win. And interesting side note here: Corbin and JBL were in the back. You know, Corbin was talking just beyond all matter of factly about the fact that he lost. And JBL, I'm just paraphrasing here, basically said that Corbin was tarnishing his leg and said that he basically kicked him to the curb. And then Corbin looked like he lost his best friend. Hopefully he won't be walking around with a white t-shirt with ketchup again, but we'll soon see. Next up, Brock Lesnar enters the building. He has a contract for a match against Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes out and takes a contract. He does state that he will get his people to look at it, his lawyer, manager, or whatever. And Lesnar's response was 2 F5s. I find it interesting that Lashley was looking like $1 million coming out there, and then he gets laid out. Hopefully this will be a great match. Elimination Chamber qualification match for the women's side: Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim versus Carmella versus Piper Niven. Carmella wins, so she will be very proud of herself, to say the least. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, accompanied by their former manager MVP, defeated American Alpha. So maybe her business will come back. We shall soon see. Next up, we have Chelsea Green versus Asuka. Green did not look too thrilled when Asuka came to the ring. Green actually did get some offense in, but her ego got herself in trouble as Asuka wins by submission. Raw Women's Champ Bianca Belair told all the women in the Elimination Chamber good luck in their match. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes comes out. He wishes Sami Zayn the best of luck at Elimination Chamber against the undisputed WWE Universal Champ Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman now comes out. The promo exchange here was very personal. Toward the end of it, the wise man told Rose that in the last conversation that Heyman had with Cody's father, the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Dusty told Paul that Cody was his favorite son, but that Reigns was the son that he always wanted. The look on Cody's face spoke volumes. Rose said that he's trying to win a wrestling championship, but that Paul made it personal. Then Cody ended everything by telling Heyman that he was going to take the titles personally. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Elias versus Montez Ford. Ford wins with the Frog Splash. The main event of Monday Night Raw has Bayley versus Becky Lynch inside a steel cage. The match that should have happened the other week, but it got cut short. It turned an angle for what I heard were time constraints, but that's a story for another day. Bayley hit a belly to Bayley from the top rope for a near fall. Becky had the disarmer to Bayley on top of the cage. As this was trying to escape, Io Sky and Dakota Kai tried to interfere. And a surprise, Lita, the Hall of Famer, came out to help out Lynch, who hits the Manhandle Slam for the pinfall victory. Her and Lita embraced to close the show. And that was it for Monday Night Raw. The following night, NXT took place. Show starts off with Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams coming out to the NXT universe. They are proud of the fact that Hayes beat Apollo Crews in 2 straight falls. As Hayes was about to call out NXT champ Braun Breaker, JD McDonough comes out. He basically tells Hayes that he's not worthy of being NXT champion. Hayes challenges McDonough to a match and JD accepts. I was looking forward to this. We have Solo Luca versus Zoe Stark. Luca went for a splash, but Stark got the knees up. Then Stark hits his knee strike for the win. Afterwards, Stark attacks Luca, trying to lay her out again. However, Luca hits a soul snatcher onto Stark before exiting the ring. You haven't seen that move? Definitely check it out. It's pretty tight. Next up, we have the returning Dabba-Kato versus Dante Chen. Kato dominated the first few minutes, but Chen attempted to come back. One big chop from Kato shut that down, though. Kato hits his 2-handed chokeslam for the win. Ila Dawn versus Tatum Paxley. Paxley showed skills in the match, but Dawn was too much and gets a win. Carmella Hayes versus JD McDonough, the match I was looking forward to. For the first few minutes, there was an even matchup. However, the sore ribs of Hayes came into play as McDonough started focusing on them. The action got thick as the match was going on. As McDonough was trying to handle things, the music of the returning Ilya Dragunov plays. And the former NXT UK champion storms down towards the ring, taking out Trick Williams. As JD was distracted, Hayes rose him up for the win. Dragunov then chases McDonough out of the ring. Meanwhile, in the locker room, Theo Hale and Trinity Stratton have a verbal exchange. Then some mysterious woman grabs Hale and takes her away. Throughout the night, there's been a celebration for the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Kiana James and Fallon Henley. There are some underlying issues there pertaining to what James may or may not be doing behind her new boo's back. Lara Valkyria versus Valentina Feroz. As the match was going on, Elektra Lopez comes to ringside and slides some brass knucks to Feroz. As Feroz is to figure out what to do, Valkyria catches her with a spin kick to gain the victory. NXT North American champion Wes Lee showed a social media diary covering his journey to his title defense at this past Saturday's Judgment Day event. This is a very well put together video package. Next up, Odyssey Jones versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Stacks delivered what appeared to be a stomp for the win. Pretty Deadly versus Chase U. As Andre Chase had things under control, Thea Hale runs to ringside in absolute hysterics. And if you had looked at her, she had all these familiar yellow buttons around her, which looked like Schism probably got hold of her. And as Duke Hudson controls her, Chase gets caught by Pretty Deadly's spilled milk finisher, and they get the win. The new NXT Tag Champs gathers on the Crow's Nest, mock clapping in approval toward Pretty Deadly. Bayley returns to NXT to host the show Ding Dong Hello. Her guests are Toxic Attraction, who are not exactly warm or fuzzy toward each other. After Bayley talks to them about sticking together, Dolan and Jane seem to pass things up. As Toxic Attraction stood united, JC Jane, almost in Shawn Michaels fashion, super kicks Gigi Dolan. She then ran Dolan into the door and kicked her in the head into the door to close the show. So, I guess Toxic Attraction is no more. And I guess we'll see what these two girls can do individually. Alright, now, next up, finally we have AEW Dynamite, which occurred last night in El Paso County Coliseum in El Paso, Texas. It is championship fight night. AEW World Champion MJF versus Konosuke Takeshita. MJF worked on Takeshita's arm throughout the match. Takeshita and MJF were on the top rope. Takeshita delivered his top rope clothesline as they were both on top rope, but MJF landed on his feet, which I thought was impressive. That shocked me. Takeshita hit the knee strike, but MJF put his foot on the bottom rope at the last minute to break up the pin attempt. MJF applied a version of Salt of the Earth for the submission. Afterwards, MJF uses his big diamond ring to hit Takeshita in the head, splitting him open. Then the American Dragon Bryan Danielson comes in to save the day. AEW Women's World Championship eliminator match. AEW Women's Champ Jimmy Hayter versus The Money. Outside the ring, Bunny delivered a suplex that had Hayter's calves hit the ring steps. As Hayter delivered a suplex, both her and the Bunny landed awkwardly. Bunny was holding her face, and Hayter delivered the ripcord lariat for the win. Maybe they had a car audible, and hopefully the Bunny is okay. Afterwards, Tony Storm and Sorrell are in the back doing an interview when they call over Levy Bates. As they're talking with her, Storm delivers a forearm to Bates' back, knocking her down. After Soraya and Storm beat her down, they spray paint the letter L on Bates' front and back with green spray paint. The green L for them stands for loser. MJF gets interviewed in his locker room. He talks about a story regarding adversity. MJF said that when he was in high school, he had a nice blue Camaro. He kept getting tickets in it until he was at one point away from his license being revoked. So basically, at a prom or something like that, or some sort of school dance, he hooked up with a girl named Liv for legal reasons. He was driving while Liv was giving him special attention. Use your imagination. As far as I'm going with that. All of a sudden, the car hydroplaned and they crashed into a telephone pole. MJF came to, blood coming out of his mouth. Liv was in the passenger seat, knocked out because her head hit the windshield. When the police were on their way, MJF did what he thought was a noble thing to do in his eyes, which he switched places with Liv so that it looked like Liv was driving. So MJF closed the interview by saying that he was a scumbag and proud of it. Indeed you are, MJF. You're a real class act, as in zero class. Nice job. Jericho Appreciation Society Gauntlet match. Ricky Starks versus the JAS. Starks pinned Cool Hand and Daddy Magic in back-to-back falls. Next he faced Daniel Garcia. While Starks was outside the ring, a masked fan delivered a suspicious spinning back elbow. Garcia rolls Starks back into the ring and gets a 3 count. As Garcia and Sammy Guevara celebrate, the masked man comes into the ring and reveals himself to be Chris Jericho, the Wizard. As Renee Paquette interviews Bryan Danielson, someone shuts the door and locks it. So Danielson is locked in the dressing room. And the MJF tells Aubrey Edwards, who were both in the ring, obviously, start counting. Danielson breaks the door down and rushes to the ring. So we have Roosh versus Bryan Danielson. Roosh dominates most of this match, busting Danielson open in the process. Roosh hits a straight jacket power driver for a near fall. Danielson hits a flying knee, but only gets a 2 count, which shocked me. They go toe-to-toe before Danielson hits another flying knee to finally get the pinfall win. After the match, MJF loses it, attacking Danielson and putting him in Salt of the Earth. AEW Trios Tag Team Championship. We have Top Flight and AR Fox taking on the champs, The Elite, of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Fox was delivering cutters to everybody. This is a hell of a match, by the way. Fox hit the 450 onto Matt Jackson, but Omega made a save at the very, very last second. Omega rose up Fox for a crucifix for the win. Pinfall win. The main event of the evening is for the AEW World Tag Team Championship as the Acclaimed defend against the Guns. Bowens hits a rolling elbow to the referee by accident. Also, Gunn hits Bowens in the head with one of the belts. Billy Gunn comes down to the ring to try to stop his son's shenanigans, but got hit upside the head with a tag team belt, laying him out. And Coach Gunn rolled Bowens up for the pinfall win, and the Guns are the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. So that closed out the show for AEW Dynamite. And this concludes this episode of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. And be sure to tune in next time and to hear another review. I didn't get it. Oh, before I leave, side note, a couple days ago, Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler suffered a stroke, but he is expected to make a full recovery, and my thoughts and prayers are with him. And that's it, fans. And until then, so long for now.